Samsung's own engineers leaked Samsung's own secrets to a chatbot 3 times in 20 days. This is my favorite story in tonight's lineup, and it's my favorite precisely because nobody did anything malicious. There's no villain here. There's just 3 separate, perfectly reasonable people, each trying to do their job a little faster, and a company that hadn't told them not to. Spring last year, Samsung's semiconductor division has engineers who, like engineers everywhere, occasionally get stuck. One is wrestling with a bug in confidential source code, so he pastes the code into a popular chatbot and asks for help finding the fix. Another sits through a meeting, records it, runs it through a transcription tool, then feeds the transcript into the same chatbot to get tidy meeting notes out the other end. A third is trying to optimize a test sequence for identifying defective chips and pastes in the relevant proprietary process to get suggestions on improving it. 3 different people, 3 different tasks, all inside a 20-day window, all doing something that felt, in the moment, exactly like using a slightly better search engine. None of them stole anything. None of them meant any harm to their employer. What they actually did, without quite framing it this way in their own heads, was hand proprietary chip source code, confidential meeting contents, and internal defect detection processes to a company they don't work for, running on servers they don't control, governed by data terms most employees have never read closely enough to picture the actual consequences of. Samsung's response, once this came to light, was swift and blunt. An outright ban on ChatGPT and other generative artificial intelligence tools, company-wide, across employee devices and internal networks. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle anyone running a business right now, more than the leak itself. This wasn't 3 reckless employees who needed firing. By every account, these were people doing their actual jobs reasonably under normal time pressure, reaching for the same tool tens of millions of other people were reaching for that same month, because it was fast and it was good at exactly the kind of task they needed done. Failure sitting underneath all 3 incidents wasn't a person behaving badly. It was a company that had rolled out access to one of the most capable, most tempting productivity tools ever built without a single clear policy telling anyone where the line actually was. That's the whole shape of what a functioning artificial intelligence governance framework is supposed to prevent, and it's worth naming plainly rather than leaving as subtext. Not will an employee try to steal secrets, which is a security question with security answers, but does a single person in this building currently know whether pasting a work document into a public chatbot is allowed, which is a policy question, and an astonishingly large number of organizations, Samsung included at the time, simply didn't have an answer ready when it mattered. Document that answers this question has a name: Annex A, Control 9.1, Acceptable Use Policies for Artificial Intelligence Systems. It requires an organization to define in writing and actually communicate what its people are and are not allowed to do with artificial intelligence tools, including the ones the organization didn't build and doesn't control. Not a vague email nobody read. A real boundary, distributed to every engineer before their first bug hunt, not drafted afterward as damage control. Samsung had that boundary within days of the 3rd leak. What they didn't have was that boundary before the first one, which is the only version of this control that actually does its job. 3 leaks in 20 days isn't a story about 3 careless engineers. It's a story about how fast an entirely well-meaning workforce will find the gap in a policy that was never actually written down, because nobody sat down and decided in advance what belongs inside the company and what's allowed to leave it through a text box. So here's the dare, and I mean this literally. Tonight, not next quarter, go and ask 3 people at your own company in 3 different departments whether they're allowed to paste client data, code, or meeting notes into a public artificial intelligence tool. If you get 3 different answers, you don't have a data leak problem yet. You have the exact conditions that produced one, sitting there waiting for somebody reasonable to walk straight into it.